Hi guys, today we're gonna go through a tutorial on how to get this kind of nice, soft, romantic looking photo. And if I show you the original, you'll kind of see what I mean. This is the original and it's a little bit yellow and green, and it doesn't have that like nice soft energy that we're looking for, that kind of blushy sort of feel. Which is perfect for a photo like this because we have lots of white, which we want, and I mean they're literally on a white bed, so it kind of looks like a cloud, and we just want it to be very romantic feeling. So let's get into it. I'm gonna copy my settings first in case I lose them, and I'm gonna reset my image like that. So now, I hate looking at the original. Let's start by white balancing. This is what I do first, and I will sometimes use the eyedropper. I know this wall was white, and this is where I see the most problem because it's very green up here. So I want to click on here, there, and then we get it's a little bit bluer. You can tell over here because we're getting a lot of daylight coming in. And I want to give just a bit of that kind of pink sort of look, that blush look, so my pinks are a little bit higher than what I would normally do. And we're going to do more to the color later, but this is just to kind of give us a nice start on our tutorial here. I'm going to bump up my exposure because we want it to look nice and airy and light, and like we had a million lights in here when we actually just had one window. So probably a little bit more, because when I adjust the other settings it will fix kind of these extra bright areas, which is what we're doing next. Is we're going on to our highlights. So your highlights are adjusting basically the hot spots in the room. So basically where the light source was coming from and bouncing off of is what you're affecting. If I bring it all the way down, you can see really well what it's hitting, what's not. So I'm going to bring this down just a little bit because I want to get more detail in his forehead there. So I'm thinking I'll probably bring it down maybe a little bit more to about there, I think. So now we see more of what we want to see, and we keep intact all the places that we still want to keep intact. And my shadows, I'm going to bring those up slightly because I want his shirt to be, I want all these areas where we're not getting as much sun to get a little bit of a boost. Now for the whites. For that look that we're going for, your whites are kind of a big deal because what I'm trying to affect is the whites and the walls and the cushions, and I want it to feel like sort of like they're just on cloud nine. So I'm gonna boost this pretty high, actually, maybe about there. And I'm gonna bring my blacks down because I don't want it to look, if you can see when I bump up the whites, you can see sort of like these white, I don't know, the details in the shirt just are a lot nicer when you bring it down a little bit like that, because now the contrast between the black and the white is a lot stronger. So I don't know, I like that look. But again, this is just sort of, I don't even know if I'm doing any of this correctly. I don't have any theories behind it, and I just kind of go with what my gut is telling me to do and what I think looks good. So if you don't like it, hey, no need to watch. This is just for people kind of like me who learned everything by just trying it out and practicing. Your clarity, as you can see, is, yeah, I know a lot of people like to boost the clarity. I do not. I think it is not a very nice look. Maybe if you're outside or if it's like just a man. I think if you're photographing a woman, it's a lot nicer to, I don't know, I think it's so mean to do that to them. So we are going to just, I'm going to boost it a tiny, tiny bit, maybe to about, I don't know, 10. Let's see how that looks. 9. Yeah, it's just to get a little bit more detail, especially like in the hair and things like that. So That's kind of my main goal. I don't want to make anybody look like too liney and too contrasty, so we'll keep it there. Next up, what I like to do is actually bring my saturation down. I think when you're shooting on an SLR or something like that, I was shooting on a Sony a7 II, but you kind of get these like poppy colors, and I just like to tone it down very, very slightly. But then when I'm bringing my vibrance up, that's where, I don't know, I usually just affect that. To be honest, I don't even know what exactly it's doing. Like when I bring it all the way up, it's more, I don't know. But because if I bring my saturation up, you see it in their skin tones like crazy. And here it's a little bit more subtle. So that's all I know about it, is that it's just a more subtle way to increase your colors and give it a little bit more depth. That's about all I do for there. We might go back up. Sometimes I work from top to bottom, but then sometimes I hate it, and after doing the colors I need to go back up and I change everything. So maybe we'll do that and maybe we won't. Now, what I was saying before is we want that kind of pinky, blushy, rose sort of look. So in order to achieve that, you're going to be working in your hues, saturation, and luminance, but specifically your hue. I love this tool. I think it's so cool. That rhymed, and also was the nerdiest thing I've ever said. So what we're gonna do is, you see my reds here are really affecting their skin tone. If we bring it all the way up, they look like they're sick, and we don't want that. So I just want to actually bring it down slightly, maybe about there, because we want to give this like nice kind of cute pink tone in their skin. Now my oranges, we do not want them to look like they're the Hulk or have a rash, or I don't even know what that is. That's just horrifying that you can do that. But I just want to bring it down like so slightly to just, again, give a little bit more life in the cheeks. And my yellows, they're not really affecting anything, but you can see like kind of her hair here and her sweater are being affected. And I kind of like actually what that looks a little bit more rose gold in her hair. So I brought those babies all the way down. Now I don't have a lot of, there's not a lot of color in this image, obviously. It's just, we are getting a bit of blues over here from the window that was over here. So that's what I'm going to be working on in my saturation, because I want to bring that down, because we want this whole wall to be the same color here as it is here, ideally. So as you can see, we are kind of getting that, because if I bring it all the way up, this is staying the same, but all these areas around here that the sun's hitting are lighting up. So if I bring that down, we're getting, that seems a lot better. It's so minor, you guys, I know, but you can tell, like, it's just, you can see it, especially when you like adjust it, you can see it. So those are just little details that I would look out for. Now my luminance, there's not a lot of stuff that I want to do here for luminance, but I'm going to show you the tool anyway, just so you can get a feel for what it is, for those of you who don't know what it is. And I know we have kind of some oranges in here, so I'm going to focus on that. If I bring this down, it looks like they just came back from a trip to the Bahamas. If I bring it up, it looks like they've been in hiding for a long time. So that, but you can see it's just focusing on the oranges, and it's bringing it like higher or lower depending on what you want, which is actually it's pretty cool. I should use cool in a more, when something's actually cool, but to me, I don't know, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So again, like, there's not a lot that I can do here, except for maybe I'll bring my blues up slightly, but I don't want to overexpose it. So I'm probably just going to leave everything as it is. I misspoke. I'm going to give them -5 on their skin tones just to bring it down slightly. But that's it. So if you want to play with that, you go for it. I like to use it when I'm outside, especially, where you have like lots of different colors to play with in the sky, but we don't have that, so I'm not going to touch it. Now my highlights and shadows. I love split toning. It's again, I shouldn't say cool, but it's pretty cool. I absolutely love it. What we do here is, I'm gonna do it extreme so you can just get a sense for what I'm doing. If I bring my saturation up, also, because if you're moving this and your saturation isn't up, it looks like it's not doing anything. So you first have to bump up your saturation. And then what I do is I just grab this little thing and then I move it slowly across until I find a color that I am happy with. So as it says highlights, I'm adjusting the highlights. That is just going to be affecting, obviously, like, it looks like everything, but it's not. It's just kind of where the highlights are, I guess, where the sun's hitting, where the light's hitting. Now, my saturation is insane right now, so I'm going to bring that down. But I sort of liked, we're close to it, kind of like right there. Maybe I'll bring this 1 point up. Now we sort of get that, like, we've already done our white balance, but now we have this like sweet sort of pinky hue to it that I really like. So my shadows, I don't know actually if I'm gonna adjust any of these, because that's kind of just hitting their skin tones, which we sort of already did. So I'm gonna leave that as it is. I don't want them to look alien. Now we're getting down to sharpening and luminance. My Lightroom automatically hits that up, but I'm gonna just zoom in and show you what luminance does. Typically what it does is if you're shooting at a really high ISO and it's super gross and grainy and not nice film grainy, it's like digitally disgusto, then you would bump this guy up and it usually handles the job pretty good, because what it does is it softens everything. So if I bump this up to about 40, even though I don't have grain, you'll see it affects their skin. So it makes everything just look so much softer and more, I don't know, it looks nice on people's skin and it makes everything just look a little bit more, I don't know what that's called, softer. So that's it. I don't know if you can tell if I put it side by side. Now if you look at their faces, they have this kind of nice glow to them that I like. So I use that. I would recommend it. I use that even when I was shooting at a low ISO and I don't have a grain problem. Now let's just, I think I'm pretty happy with it, how it is. I might add like another hit of pink there, add it to 20. But what I'm gonna do is I'm noticing, for one, I have this corner of the frame in there, which I'm gonna handle by cropping, but if I wasn't handling it by cropping, I would just edit that out. Also, doesn't it look like she has bunny ears? Is that cute? Okay, I'm gonna adjust this like here, straighten it out. And I mean, there's so many things that you can do. I like how this is framed right now, but I mean, I might rotate it slightly more. But you can like adjust it like this, like make it more like you were spot on and adjust it that way. But you have to be careful because you don't want to stretch out their faces at all. I'm gonna leave it like that, I think, and then bring this down slightly. More like that. And last, and probably least as well, is I'm gonna add a vignette, but not a black vignette. We definitely don't want that. We're gonna add it the other way. So as you can see, I could add a nice little cloud around them. We're gonna do it super subtly, probably about there. And yeah, well, next what I would do, if I'm just showing you color and all that today in Lightroom, but I would like edit out a couple things around here just to make it really look nice and soft. But that I think is it. I'm gonna say that I'm pretty happy with that guy, and call it a day. Let's look at the original just to see how much we actually did. Because I know it doesn't look like we did all that much, but when you look at it side by side, it is a lot nicer, it's a lot sweeter, and it's very sweet and it's very subtle. That's the thing with editing, is sometimes I go overboard, but you really, if you dial it back and you kind of just focus on the people and bring your, I don't know what I'm saying, but just, keep it simple. And that's it. That's all there is to it. That is how we get that nice romantic blush white look. And that's all. Thanks for watching. The two of you who are watching. I'm signing off.